Have you ever met someone who hasn't heard of the sinking of the Titanic? Probably not. Even a child can tell you the story: a massive ship hit an iceberg and sank. But what if I told you some survivors remembered something completely different? Not an iceberg, but an explosion. And one man's story might change the way you see Titanic forever. In the spring of 1912, a young Armenian writer named Vaghinak Byurat was preparing for an important journey. He was just 25 years old. His mission? To travel to America and deliver books written by his father, a well-known author. But there was a problem. Due to health issues, he was initially denied permission to enter the United States. However, with help from his father, he finally managed to get the documents he needed. And so, his journey began. He traveled across Europe, boarding the famous Orient Express, making his way to France, and finally arriving in Southampton. That's when he heard about it. A ship that everyone was talking about. A ship called Titanic. Excited and curious, Vaghinak decided to board the ship. He arrived at the port well-dressed, confident, and ready for a new life. On board, he shared a cabin with 3 other passengers, 2 Englishmen and a Frenchman named Morin. Soon, Vaghinak and Morin became close friends. They spent their days exploring the ship, walking on the deck, visiting the bar, relaxing in the library. The Titanic felt unstoppable. People even called it unsinkable. No one, not a single person, could imagine what was about to happen. On the night of April 14th, everything changed. Vaghinak and his friends went to bed late, just like any other night. Then suddenly, a loud sound. Not a scrape. Not a crash. But something like an explosion. Bam! The lights went out. The ship shook. Passengers were thrown from their beds. One man injured his head. Another hurt his arm. Panic started to spread. But strangely, the corridors were quiet. No clear answers. No explanations. Just confusion. Soon, the truth became impossible to ignore. The Titanic was sinking. Crew members began preparing lifeboats. But there was one rule: women and children first. For the men left behind, the chances of survival were almost zero. Vaghinak and Morin looked at each other. They didn't need to say anything. They both knew, if they stayed on the ship, they would die. So they made a decision. They would jump into the freezing Atlantic Ocean. The moment they hit the water, it was a shock beyond imagination. The temperature was below freezing. Within seconds, Vaghinak's body began to shut down. His arms felt numb. His legs stopped responding. He was losing strength, fast. At one point, he even lost his life vest. And then, he saw a lifeboat. His only chance. He swam toward it with everything he had left. But the boat was already full. When he tried to hold on, they pushed him away. Even hitting him with a paddle. Not out of cruelty, but out of fear. Because one more person could sink the entire boat. Imagine that moment. Begging for your life, and being forced to let go. After that, everything went dark. Vaghinak lost consciousness. But somehow he survived. He later woke up aboard the RMS Carpathia, a ship that had come to rescue survivors. He had no memory of how he got there. No memory of who saved him. But days later, a woman came to visit him. She was crying. She said, "You're alive." It turned out, she had saved him. Her name was Mrs. Aestia. She had lost her husband in the disaster. But when she saw Vaghinak struggling in the water, she told the rescuers he was her son. And refused to leave without him. She saved his life. And even kept his belongings safe. But here's the most shocking part. Vaghinak never spoke about an iceberg. Not once. Instead, He always described hearing an explosion. And he wasn't the only one. Some believe a hidden fire weakened the ship before it even left port. Others created even wilder theories, but the truth? We still don't know everything. The Titanic is more than just a tragedy. It's a mystery. And maybe the real story hasn't been fully told yet. If this story surprised you, hit like. Subscribe for more real mysteries. And tell me in the comments, do you believe it was just an iceberg, or something more?